Well, welcome back to another episode of Musicians Exchange Podcast. This is season 2.
Yep.
Glad to be here, man. We over here at the dope new spot my homie Evrick Lee got, Elite Vision Studios.
Yo.
I'll let them introduce themselves. I got some of the good homies here to help. And this episode is basically about, teching for musicians and stuff like that. But, I'll let them, introduce yourself, fellas.
All right. My name is Evrick Lee. I am the owner of Elite Vision Studio. I'm a drummer. I'm 30 years old, and I'm a drum tech as well. You can find me at Instagram, Elite Vision Studios, and lead drummer on Instagram as well.
All right, what's going on? What's going on? Josh, also known as Josh on the block. Yo, this nigga. I knew you.
Free marketing.
Right. Look. He was on another episode. He did that too. Stupid. Come on, Josh. Come on.
All right.
Your chain hanging on your beard, doc.
It's a good problem to have.
Come on, man.
I mean, I know you can't relate. You know what I'm
Yo,
saying?
they starting already.
Still
Man.
trying.
They starting already. Where we at? That's Josh.
All right.
Yo.
All right.
It's been nonstop since we got in here, yo.
All right. Yeah, man. I'm Josh. Drummer. Do a little drum teching on the side. Drum lessons. High school drummer instructor. Stuff like that. And church drummer.
All right. My name is Kenneth Shields. I am a drum tech / guitar tech, just whatever tech you need me to be, / sound engineer. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook. I'll give you all that information later. I got to make sure I know it by heart. But, yeah, so just happy to be here.
That boy old.
Word. Indeed. And, you guys may know who I am already. If not, I'm Erik Norwood. I'm a musician. I play drums. I've been playing for a little while now. Long and short, man, I ain't no drum tech. But I don't mind. I've helped out a couple homies, here and there, or just a musician tech, period. I have yet to step out there to, as far as, like, keyboards and stuff like that. But I've been in some situations. So, like I said, this season, we're going more in depth. We done talked about the surface stuff, and this right here information is to help the next generation on, finding different avenues and lanes. So what I ask y'all, we can start it out. We keep it light. We started out with, as far as being a tech, because you guys have already have experience in it. What are some of the worst situations you, as a musician, have encountered? From a playing side, when you haven't had a drum tech.
Probably when the snare head goes out. That's probably the worst situation. And then I don't have a backup snare, so it's just like
Especially the bottom head go out.
Yeah.
just like
Oh man.
Dang, that's kind of hard. There's a couple of those situations. I mean, might be something as far as, I think we all that went through this. Like, you hit the cymbal and the daggone cymbal stand for a boom stand, and, you know what I'm saying, go down because it's not tight enough, you know what I'm saying? That's probably the biggest issue as far as playing for myself, you know what I mean? But, yeah, when I'm on stage, like, taking for someone else, I try to make sure all those little odds and ends pretty much, tight.
when the bass drum is running away.
Yeah,
Oh
heck yeah,
my
yeah.
God,
Runaway
that is
bass
a
drum.
nightmare.
Yo.
Runaway
old school
bass.
chains like they do in church.
Man, bro. Yo, I done seen some situations where they got the bass drum tied to the seat.
Yeah.
Shoelace.
I done seen a bungee cord.
cords,
I done
that's
seen
the one.
it all.
Yo. Wow. You can.
Well, I don't really play like that no more, but so I guess I didn't witness a bad situations like far as like you said, snare head popping, or simple as drummers not being prepared, not even having no sticks, show up to the gig and I got my stick bad. So from a tech's perspective, it's your responsibility, when you get that job to make sure that drummer don't have, or any musician, don't have those mess-ups.
Word. Indeed. I feel you. And it's not, like I said, it's not even just for drums. It's legit for everything. Like a bass player, his string pop. It's like, what do you do in them situations? Like, and I was asking from the aspect of, you being a musician, that side of things. But now that we have experience of being in Texas, stuff like that, I think that's crazy, man. Like I agree, man. But we don't want to jump too ahead. When did you jump into the tech and field, the lane? When did you see it as like, yo, I can do this?
I want to hear his story first because he been in it the longest.
Facts.
I've been studying Kenny since like the beginning. I ain't gonna stunt.
I remember when he started, bro. For the most
I ain't
part.
gonna stunt. I want to hear this.
Well, I didn't know how to tune drums when I started.
Come on.
So I mean, a lot of people don't know. I play drums and bass, but I guess for me it was kind of like I always like the behind the scenes work. You know what I'm saying? I ain't really had a passion of being on the stage. I had more of a passion like behind the scenes setting stuff up. So it was about 10 years ago. I just started following my boy Rashad Jenkins at the time. I mean, he's still my boy though, but just started following him, setting up for little club gigs and stuff like that. So, he was a drummer for Anthony at the time. So I just really like started doing little club gigs, and when I got the opportunity to tech, for a mainstream artist, which was Anthony, just took there. I mean, so at the time when I even started teching, I didn't even know what I was doing. Like, like stuff like tuning and the importance of, maintenance. And so I didn't know anything. I just knew how to set up a drum kit. But now, I mean, guitar tech, I know how to do intonation, all that stuff, action, bass. So I mean, just start grinding and studying, man.
That's a different lane, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it ain't just drums no more.
Nah.
And they not hiring you on the road to be just a drum tech no more.
Facts, super facts.
Yeah, nowadays,
You gotta be able to do it all.
Yeah, nowadays production managers, it's all about a budget. If they can find a guy that can do 3 jobs, you're gonna get that job versus one guy. That's why I always tell cats, man, like, don't just stick to drums, man. Like, that might be your focus, but learn bass, learn keys, learn DJ gear, learn all that stuff.
Yeah, everything, literally.
So
when did y'all decide to jump in?
Probably I'd say maybe like I'm like new to it. Maybe like a year and a half ago. I mean, of course, like I would always like help the homies at their gigs or whatever. But actually, Ken's cousin, DeCarlos, he really like gave me the opportunity to like actually like be an actual drum tech. You know what I'm saying? Like, and, get paid for it. Because when I do it for the homies, it just be like off the love. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me come help you out, whatever. But yeah, pretty much.
I remember you started with all those.
Yeah, so I mean, it was dope. Like, he'll still call me every now and then, or whatever. But
you got too expensive for him, man.
Yeah, man. It got nice. You, E? I know you've been doing it for a minute.
Yeah. Dang, it's been a while, but I think I really got into it as far as like playing for myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the time, looking at award shows and seeing how like just beautiful the setup was. You know what I'm saying? Like, just being a drummer, like, dang, yo, those joints shiny. They look good. Like, I want my kid to look like that. So I really it started with me practicing on myself. You know what I'm saying? Young age, probably like 12, 13, something like that. But as far as actually taking it serious, I would say probably like 5 years ago, maybe. Like tops, yeah, like really, really taking it serious. I've always known my gear, but as far as like actually stepping out and want to actually take charge, it's probably like 5 years ago. For real.
Word. I mean, me, like I said, man, I haven't been a drum tech or stuff like that, but I've been in some situations. I've even had to call E like, yo, how I'm gonna do this joint? How I'm gonna
Rick, he has saved, bro. I didn't even know E,
like,
and he saved me, bro.
Yo.
Oh my!
Yeah,
several occasions.
We
You
met on some
like,
joint, yeah.
Yo, I remember E texted me a couple times, man, a couple situations, and when I tell you, he did his thing, I ain't had to worry about nothing. I came in, sat down on the kit and played, bro.
Appreciate that.
Set up, breakdown. It's like legit, dog. And at the time, I didn't know, that was really a lane. I would have been blessed to homie, you feel me? And it was just like mentally like, damn, bro, that's for real. Like, that ain't nothing light, dog. And I mean, pad and everything, shot snare, main snare, all of that, dog. Like, I was just like, yo. And I mean, when I tell you, I still got the videos from that show, bro.
Yeah, I remember that. It was the hyperdrive.
Yeah, bro. Heather Victoria Poorhouse, man.
Yeah, that was
everybody
clean.
was there, bro. And it was just like, and that was our first time hitting with her.
Wow.
So it really matters, you know what I mean? Like, they are just as important, They are just as important as, the musicians playing. Legit,
he
man.
done definitely saved me. I remember the first time it was at Lincoln Theater. This is when
Yeah, that was.
this
it.
was, I think, Imani's first time hitting there, and I left my cymbals. I don't know
Yep.
how. I do not know how, but I had everything. I knew I was good. I was so ready. Got to the venue. I was like, "Yo, where's my?" I thought somebody
This
stole it.
man went to the gig with no symbols.
No cymbals, doc.
Fired.
Full kit, full kit, bro. It was a while ago. It was years ago. It was a long time.
And you was coming from Greensboro to
Yeah.
Raleigh.
Yes, sir.
I remember when I got the call. I forgot who called. Who called?
So my man who was playing bass at the time, Marcus, his name Marcus.
Yeah, your management called me.
And
Out
then
the
he
blue, I didn't
called
know who it
somebody
was.
that somebody called you. And then I think it was another who was playing drums. I can't remember his name, but he was there. And I think he called you. He had that blue sparkle Star Classic. I think his name was Ray Jones or something Jones. I don't know.
I just know it was just a random call. I forgot what I was doing. I was busy doing something else, and I got a random call like, one of the acts got their cymbals, and we were told to call you. I'm like, all right, that's a bet. Cool.
Anytime we in Raleigh, bro.
Facts.
Yeah, he looked out, bro. It was all love.
Hey,
Like
you know somebody in Raleigh
all
with blah
love.
blah blah, and I know they credible and they solid. Yo, he
But he did it off the show because he didn't know me
a
at
lot of
all.
the time, yo,
Not at all, bro.
bro, I remember leaving work, dog.
You ain't crapping, did you?
Hit me like,
No.
yo.
Hey, he was playing too.
I know. Josh go from 0 to 10.
Bro was
Yo.
playing.
Yo, and you know what I mean? Like, you don't take that lightly, for somebody to loan out their gear, period.
Not for real.
Let alone for free.
Especially cymbals.
Pads, and you gonna make sure you straight.
Yeah. I really didn't know too much about like getting paid, like as far as being a tech. You know what I'm saying? I always thought it was like, well, not really thought. Man, I knew people got paid for it, but it was more so my lane to like just be the homie that cats portray to be. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right,
if you
right,
the
right.
homie, quote unquote,
We solid.
like you gonna be solid. Like
Yeah,
ain't
right.
no ifs, ands, or buts about your game. Like
Right.
period. On the court, off the court, it don't matter. Like you're supposed to be solid. So anytime somebody hiring me, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm doing it more so because my heart is into it, rather than what my dollar
That's real.
amount. You know what I'm saying? Like is
real.
my dollar gonna come? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? That's gonna come. That's without. So do it for the love, bro. Y'all stop capping, man.
Yeah.
Do it for the love sometimes. Y'all gonna get there. Everybody gonna get there. I'm still working. We still working. So
And in your own lane, I'm gonna keep it hot with you, man. Like, I ain't gonna say I've tech, but I've provided backline. I've used my kit for a couple homies with their companies. And when I tell you the bread that you make
yeah,
almost the
facts.
money you make playing for the artist, bro.
Nah, for
Yeah.
real.
Like when he said yeah, so and so, I said word. That's how much? $200?
Facts.
Yo, all I gotta do is be there at 6 a.m. Set up, break down at the end of the show. You get to chill backstage. If you get to meet the artist, you meet him. You know what I mean? You get to enjoy the whole show for free and get the experience because I'm already a musician.
Yep.
That's immediately. I will tell you, like for Tiana Taylor, every time
Oh,
she was in
yeah.
town a couple times, it was just like, yo. It got to the point where I was cool with the band. You know what I mean? And then it's just like we ain't out here name dropping and we ain't chasing nobody. But it's like that experience alone was like, yo, that's what's up. This is a real field.
It's the relations.
You know what I mean? Outside of Jers and Cedric Kraut and some of them big names, like I said, your homie JR, you know what I mean? Like, so it's a real situation. Shit.
Man, I don't forget what the question was. Man, yeah, I don't know. I don't forget the question.
I mean, like jumping in that lane, like when did you know it was that was for you?
I never forget. Let's see, we was in Greensboro doing a gig. I also, a lot of people don't know I do sound too as well. Right, that's another strength for me. So we was in Greensboro, and one thing I learned about this business, you may like to do sound, but there's other areas that you can do to create income. So we was in Greensboro doing a gig, and I told one of the guys, I said, man, I don't know how I gotta get it. I gotta get out there, and like literally, I spoke it at the table in the following week. Like I got a call, like, cause what I used to do is Anthony used to have his rehearsals in Charlotte, so a lot of times I would go with Eric Jones. He's his funhouse engineer. I would just go with him, shadow him, help load in gear, and just show my face. And the production manager, Bill Reeves, out of L.A., he's Anthony's guy. And I would always like make my face known. Like every time I see on, yo, Bill, you need anything? Like even if it's a simple, going to get some coffee. Like so, I would always, I ain't charged. Like I said,
that's networking, bro. That's not like I don't want to say that.
Definitely
like,
networking.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
That's networking. Don't ever. That's a maturity thing, bro.
Yeah.
Because I used to be like, yo, so why you getting mine? You know what I mean?
Nah,
Like,
you said we keeping it real.
Yeah.
Yo, it's not sack riding.
It's not sack
Like, it's
chasing.
not sack
That's what
chasing.
I'm, trying to be respectful. But we still providing the real. But yeah.
Yep. So I like I said, this one they was getting ready for a Christmas tour, and I walked up to the office and said, Bill, look, man, I'm ready. I didn't. At this time I knew a lot of people. The band knew me. Like, man, whenever you're ready, just give me a call. Like, I know it's a situation on budget, but as long as I got somewhere to lay my head, man, and just give me the opportunity. So, long story short, they called me. I did the Christmas tour with them. Knocked it out. Still learned a lot of stuff. Did a few mess ups. But cool thing about that camp at the time was they was all the homies and bros, so they kind of like shouted me and made sure I was good. Even though I was hired to be a tech for Rashard still came on the stage to make sure he was straight that way. If something did go wrong, it wouldn't be on me. So, I did my thing, and then Bill called me after the tour, was like, "Hey, you want it full time?" And then from there, that's how my career really started with just hanging out and just networking, and that's why.
dope.
How did you like the Bieber situation?
Bieber situation, yeah. So shout out to my boy JR, and like
OG.
I met JR through working with Anthony, through Bill. Like they did some stuff together. So the Bieber situation was cool. It was a learning experience for me because like over there, that's a whole different area as far as the pop world. Like my first gig, like literally, like I'm breaking the drums down and they tearing the stair rails off, and I'm like we 8 feet in the air, and I'm like, yo, what's going on? And yo, they like, we trying to get out because we got a Nate show another day, and that taught me speed. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to get that stuff up, you got to get it in and out. Like still being careful. I was just like moping around, like here you go. Nah, like when they ready to go, and I ain't had no stair rail. I had to literally jump down. After that, man, I was like, all right. But that situation taught me a lot because when I came back to Anthony after that, Bill was like, dang, man, you working fast. Like, man, I had that kid up in like 10 minutes. I'm ready to go.
That was definitely my first mistake. Like,
yeah,
speed,
you got it.
Yo, that was crazy.
Time is money.
Yeah.
So that situation was cool. Like, I learned a lot, got a chance to network. That's when I really became more interested, like, learning. Because I was already doing guitar teching, but there's a guy, he's like, this guy named Ruff. Like, he's probably the number one guitar tech out there. Like, he even do violins and stuff. But that's when he really started showing me more of the maintenance beside, like, intonation, all that stuff. And so I learned a lot. So that situation was sweet.
Word.
That's dope.
Yeah, see, Kenneth got more experience than all of us
Factuals.
in that field. So, and that's why I call these guys, man. Like, I know, their work is credible and for a fact. And, and just to show you how honest and straight up I am, this is the first time me and Kenneth is chill. You know what I mean? For real, Like, you know what I mean? I've always known of him through Eric Jones and all of them. I seen him when he was skinnier, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So,
Say, married like
you know what I mean? Look, it's real.
Wait,
feel me?
eating.
You know what I mean? So, but, not to get, away from the topic of teching, but let me ask you this. Would you guys rather, now that you know your experience and finances and stuff like that, would you rather be a tech or a musician?
Ooh.
I
mean, it's like I love both. Like I love experimenting. That's what really got me.
What? I'm playing. Hey, get him shut it up, yo.
You walked into that one.
That's right. Strange for some change, huh?
Sweating bullets not to say
You
nothing.
gotta be careful.
What? But
Nah, bro, chill, son. Chill.
You said it.
You know what I meant, bro.
His word choice, boy. I don't know about you, man. Nah, go ahead.
But now, like with different setups, man.
Yeah. Different setups. What happened? This nigga John, come on, bro.
Yeah. All right,
Let me get this dude all day.
Nah, like electronics. I don't even know. I don't want to say.
Would
the
you
next
rather?
one.
Yeah. Nah,
Would you rather be a musician or a tech, man?
Yeah.
It's an easy answer for me.
I mean, I love playing. Like,
Which one requires? Hey, chill. Which one requires a little? Which one do you feel requires more work? I feel like being a musician because you got to retain that music.
Yeah.
See me, like I'm a musician at heart, but I'm lazy. Like I used to be an MD of the church, and I used to hate learning music. So when I resigned and I was not playing music, like I be in my church now. I'm the sound engineer in my church, and I be in band rehearsals, and they going over licks and stuff, and they going over like 15 times. I just sit back and laugh because I'm like, I don't miss that. Like that's just me. I mean, I love
But
music.
At the same time, you better not program that pad wrong.
Right, I'm about to say now. I mean, I still got a hard job, but
yeah.
like for me, like I just like I got a passion for like sound engineering, tech, and you know what I'm saying. Like every once in a while, I might like to pick up a bass, but as far as saying I want to be a musician, you know, on stage, I'm good on that one.
That's crazy, man. Like, cause I felt the need to ask that because it's definitely different perspectives out there. It's people who would rather be look. I'd rather get similar to the money, you know, and less of the work, but it's still a passion. Yeah. Everybody want to be on that stage, you know what I mean?
Outlook I had, and I was telling somebody, I was like, I mean, sometimes you gotta take the back door to get to the front of the stage. You know
it's definitely a lane.
Yeah.
Yo, it's drum techs that Cedric Kraut done filled in for a few people he done played for. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And he's
JR did that too.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, and I guess that's the opposite side of it. It's like for me, it's like I'm limited too, because it's like if a situation, if I'm teching for an artist, even playing like guitar, if I'm teching, and you know the guitar player gets sick, you know I can't
know the show.
I can't know the show because I don't really practice. But that right there kind of makes me want to get back into it, just to be in a situation of, you know what I'm saying, like I'm teching, but like I said, something go down, they don't got to call nobody.
Technically, you gonna have to pay me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm about to say, you gonna pay me for the stage, but like but that's like I said, I've seen situations where you know the musician go down, the tech got to step up. You know,
really,
yeah. Like in my mind, I know the show, but man, I'm telling you right now, my stamina is not gonna let me play the show. I know all the hits, so I know where they coming at, but no,
that's real.
I guess so. Like in my situation, it's like I tech, you know, but I still play drums full time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm still on the road full time too. So, it just works hand in hand. You know what I mean? Like even when I post stuff from the band I'm on the road with, it still looks like, you know what I'm saying, I'm still doing my job as a tech. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still in my mind, I'm just like, okay, I'm still learning the tech side of things, but I'm still finessing my gift at the same time. So yeah, like Ken said, it was like, yo, you could be in a rehearsal, and you know, I've been in that situation where I've had to fill in, you know, at gigs or fill in at rehearsals. You know what I'm saying?
You recently had to do one. I seen you go live. Yeah,
so definitely just had to do one, and that was fun.
Yeah.
Like, but
you never know, bro. You never know what lane, bro. You be surprised. The artist see
actually.
But at the same time, it's like sometimes, I don't think I've ever experienced this personally, but it's like if that situation do happen, the main drummer might feel some type of way that you know what I'm saying, notice.
Yeah, but that's the relationship.
Yeah.
It's on relationships.
That's trust
or
too.
any musician.
Yeah, like and not
they
being
like
insecure.
You're gonna take that gig.
Either you handling your business or you not.
Yeah.
Like,
because a real musician in the industry, if y'all got that, and I mean that's the thing you gotta have anyway. From a musician to a tech, you gotta have that trust issue. So
facts.
At the end of the day, if they know they go down, you know they should be secure enough to know that all right, the tech is feeling for this show, but it's still my gig.
I'm not worried about it.
You know,
that's like any position really in this industry. Like this whole industry is crabs in the bucket, but it's only like a few that's really like real with you. You know what I'm saying? Where you like be able to be trusted. You know what I'm saying? Longevity, not just for this moment. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's real. Wow. That's real. That's I'm glad you have that perspective of it, bro, because most people like, nah, I just want to play drums. I want to play in arenas and nah, bro.
Man,
what if you don't make it in the arena? What if you don't make it?
Dude, go where the bank account is gonna add up.
You know what I mean?
Whether it makes sense.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, facts.
And you having fun and you still doing your due, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, between that, I mean, so let's talk finances real quick, real brief. Typically, what do techs make? Or about what ballpark or what range?
Well, I know like when I first started, of course I wasn't making anything because I was just what I'm saying, just getting my feet wet. But I think like my very first tech job was like $250. That was like my first one. But I've seen a couple of dollars, and that was like dang, like I can really do this. But I mean, it just depends for real, for real.
A lot with 250, bro.
I mean, yeah, I mean, of course, like since the time and my experience and the time I put in, as far as my craft in it now, of course, I see more than that. You can see 5, 6, some techs see 1,000. I ain't seen that yet, but I'm gonna get there.
Yet.
I get about 75 on the plate.
Josh.
Come on, cousin DeCarlo.
Yeah, man.
Come on, bro.
He get paid in
Nah,
wings,
nah.
boy.
Some
On the real,
nabs.
on the real though, like.
Getting fruit baskets.
Popeye's chicken sandwich.
Nah, but on the real, I mean, I would like to actually tech more. But on the real, like the Carlos, man, he's done. Like I appreciate him for more than just teching, cause like he's someone that really
The homie.
sat down with me and was like, you should move. Like he's one of the main reasons why I moved the way I moved, as far as like social media marketing, how I brand myself. So it's like I can't really put a dollar amount on
Factuals.
quality time and
A big following.
yeah. Like if you follow the call, like
bro, I remember I was one of the judges at Guitar Center, and he came and played. Yeah, bro, he got it. Don't worry about it.
yeah, like
Done deal.
Not yet to meet him. I want to though.
dude, I'm telling you, bro, knowledge,
Dope.
knowledge.
And cats don't understand, like, that's blood for me. Like, just as ill he on drums, guitar, organ, all that stuff. But far as me and pay, I've seen, day rates. Because, I mean, in the industry, they do day rates. Unless you're on tour, then, it's really weekly pay. So I've been in there making anywhere between $650 a show to $35 a week. It just depend on the artist.
Yeah, that's
So like when I was
all right.
I'm about to
when I was with
drum
all
tech.
right.
I'm in the wrong
Nigga,
field.
I'm about to
that's
become
all
a tech.
right right there.
so like
What am I doing?
when I was with Bieber, 32.
What was the intensity like? Just being and like involved with an artist like at that magnitude, like
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I never saw him.
you never saw him.
See, the thing about Justin Bieber was like he didn't do
See a
like
pop star,
like
man.
he didn't right. You know what I'm saying? He'll show up 10 minutes. Nah, band's checking everything, but he ain't showing up. He showed up 10 minutes before the show, and after the show, he back out.
You set up his drums too.
Yep, I did set up his drums. He had a little
Wow.
standard 5-piece, but I mean, yeah, money wise, I mean,
Straight.
yeah, like but obviously that's all a part of, you gotta. I didn't walk in making that, but
Right.
you gotta really pay your dues but yeah, nowadays that's standard $650 day rate plus PD.
That's real. I mean, my next question, man, to be honest with you, man, was who are some guys you guys have tech for? But you already, let it be known who, which is a blessing, because we don't take none of that for granted. You have certain musicians that's picky, bro.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that after you've accepted the gig?
I'll tech for, of course, Rashad Jenkins, Tavares Johnson, Chris Key, Darnell, Showcase Taylor, Lamont McCain, Sticks, Devin Taylor, Kenny Leonard, E. Will, CJ who?
Thompson.
No, I ain't never tech him. No. He's a homie, but we ain't never like worked together as a real situation like that. But in situations like you just gotta really. I had a guy, Casey Jackson. He's a production manager for Earth, Wind, and Fire. He's been in his industry for 60 years, at least, still working. I asked him for some question. He said what's the most important being a tech? And I was like, making sure everything works. He was like, no. He said, what's the most important being a guitar tech? I was like, changing strings. He said, no. The most important piece of being a guitar tech is the guitar. You know what I'm saying? Everything else, like, cool, but make sure, especially if that's their personal own, like, make sure it's right, because that's their personal stuff. So, like, for me, it was kind of like I had to, like, start treating, these guys' instruments like it was mine. Like, I got to the point I used to talk junk to Showcase. Like, I know those his guitars, but, hey, yo, give him my guitars back. Like, man, you messing up. Like, You know what I'm saying? You gotta have that, and by like even though we joking, that's how we earned the trust. You know, get to the point where
That's
you know
real.
what I'm saying, like Showcase, he used to carry his guitars with him, but it got to the point where, I took him because I gained that trust as he know that.
It's dope. It's in good hands.
Yeah. So, and you just gotta build up to it and just value, and that's there again. That's how you get to work. Like when musicians can trust you. Like I've got calls just based on the musician. Like, and I'm definitely not far the best one in the industry, but I've got work just because the musician said, "No, we want him." You know.
That's real. Your work speaks for itself.
So
And character.
Yep. Be humble.
Good character, bro. Like you said, be humble, and I agree, man. I've noticed that, man. Because like I said, man, this is a crazy topic. It's crazy content. Like, and I don't take it lightly for this musicians exchange. And it's just crazy how it all came together, dog. As far as even this topic, bro. Because it's like most people take it for granted. Like, oh, that nigga a roadie. Nah, it's a real lane.
Yeah.
It's a wide lane too. So it's like
Actual.
you can't just come over here and yo, I got it. I'm good. I can set up drums. Nah, bro. You know how to set up triggers and the whole nine.
Dude,
That's
programming.
That's the new game
Yeah.
changer right
yo, with
there.
the Bieber gig, man, like so.
That's a spaceship for real.
I used to be so nervous because like when I got the call for that gig, I had to learn. They don't use it no more. The drum cat.
Man, don't jump into it. Hold on. So let me ask the next question then. You know what I mean? Is there any nervousness or stress you feel behind setting up gear and it failed you even after you've double checked it? After sound check or before loading in, whatever. Now go ahead.
Man, so at the time, Bieber, that's electronic gig. You know what I'm saying? Tones, all that stuff, cymbals, that stuff can fail. If those electronics go wrong, it's a wrap. So he was using the drum cat, and it's an old vintage piece of gear, but they use it because you had I think you had 20 trigger outputs and stuff like that. So, but you talking about programming and like you got to program the drum cat, then you got to go MIDI to it. He had a Kai MPC sound downstairs. So like every drum, like this particular drum cat, like sometimes it'll work, sometimes it wouldn't. Like you just didn't know, like it was all beat up. So man, like right before the show, I'd be like, God, come on, and like when I hear that, but every time I heard that first clap, like if it go right the first time, it's good. I'd be like, all right, kick my feet up at workstation, I'm good. Because I'm telling you, those electronics go wrong.
How long was you on that tour?
That tour was 6 weeks, and then when we got back, JR at the time he had started working on something else, so he was like, man, you can take the gig. So it was gonna be my tour, but then that's when Bieber decided to give his life to Jesus, and fell off. But I mean, it was cool. Like,
Amen.
Until you get your life to Christ.
I wasn't mad about that, but I was like, dang, that bank account was about to be sweet, boy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But for me, that was the most stressful. I was like, man, if these electronics don't mess up, like I'm just gonna book my flight home.
Day in, day out, yo, you holding your breath.
Yeah, literally.
6 weeks. That's your job. This your lifestyle. This livelihood, and it's like, yo, 6 weeks, bro, every day. Like I call my shorty, him, yo, man, I hope it work. If not, I'm gonna be home with you. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not real.
But yeah, that's crazy. Josh, E.
I haven't really had any bad situations. I'm still kind of like new to it, you know. So I haven't been doing it long enough to.
I ain't set up enough cymbal stands yet.
Right.
I mean, I've had stuff for myself go wrong, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But nerves. The only time I get nervous is just dealing with stuff with like.
Crazy.
Come on, man.
I had to get you back, bro.
Only time.
Like stuff like cause I'm still learning my way around, but I've gotten better like Ableton and doing playback, stuff like that. I'm just learning in that area, but that's the only time I can say I get nervous.
Not one time you ever set the kid up with Carlos, and you was like, yo. See, he don't play hard no way, so that's a blessing.
And so I remember the first time I checked for him, like I wanted to set a bar for myself. Right. So I changed the snare and all the time the batter heads in 6 minutes and 54 seconds.
You had a true tuner or something?
Nah, son.
Woo! Bro, the forearms is done, son.
Look at
That what's up, boy. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Not
Yeah.
just put on, but like tune to his like
Of course,
liking.
yeah.
You change drum key or drill bit?
No, drum key.
Boy, I got
Before,
I got
I was
to,
moving, bro.
bro. I got to
them
see
drill
that.
bits,
I got
to see that.
I
Well,
can
you
do
got
it.
super
6
fingers.
minutes.
Snare,
I can do it right now.
snare, and what else?
The snare and rack toms and the floor
How many times? Yeah.
Two. Just two.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm about to
All
say.
Yeah, you
right,
gotta
right,
say
right,
that,
right.
bro.
Yeah, I'm about to say
That's
you got
3
me thinking
drums,
like
bro.
10, 12,
I'm thinking like,
14.
yo, what?
I'm calling you for the next.
Right,
one.
right. Like,
Like,
you had a
what
true
I'm doing.
tuner or nah?
Yeah.
Like, but that's real. You?
Dang, what was it again? What was
Which
it?
like any stress or any fear, you know, behind setting up gear.
Oh,
any
yeah,
failures?
yeah. Any stress or fear.
I know you checked for Varo one time at you know.
Yeah, I did Varo for the McDonald's festival. That was pretty fun.
Or even
I
last
actually-
night.
Oh yeah, last night did the Umi and Conan Gary show at the Fillmore in
Dope.
Charlotte. That was pretty dope. I got that call like last minute. My homegirl Aisha.
Shout out to Aish.
Yeah, she's
D.
dope, man. She's on drums for Umi. Really dope artist. Go look her up. But that was pretty dope. That was last minute. But really no stress or anything. I mean, I think if you go in with a clear conscience and you really know your job and you're confident in what your job is, you know, everything else just fall in place. I mean, you're not perfect, so things could go wrong, but at the same time, you know, you don't look for them to go wrong. You know what I mean? But you do prepare.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so you do like your double checks, triple checks. If you need to go back the fourth time, you go back for a quad check. You know what I'm saying? So, just try not to go. I try not to go into any situation thinking that I can't do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Regardless of the way it is, you know. And you know, that's really it. There's nothing to it, honestly.
Man, I'm gonna tell you from a musician standpoint. Even watching on the gram and different stuff like that. Even for myself though, like I've been in situations, man. We all, from whether you growing up in church or not, it's like, yo, I done got to a situation where the snare stand spins completely.
Yeah.
Yo, what? Screws stripped, hi-hat yo. This week I had a situation, the hi-hat stand wouldn't go no higher than my kneecap. And the snare was right there too. And I'm just like, yo, these situations I'm in, dog, like, you know, I can't even tech for myself. But one not even. They didn't even have a hi-hat clutch, bro. Yes, it was a little church gig for somebody, you know, filling in, whatever. But it was just like, and it was a concert. You invite people over here. Yeah, shut up, Eric. Yeah. So
Right.
I had a spare hi-hat clutch, and I ain't gonna lie, bro, like he's the reason why I make sure I have ample gear and all that
Double
extra
everything.
stuff. Double everything.
Double, triple.
I was like, yo, what I need with 3 hi-hat clutches? But when I was playing with the
You
corporate
need 'em.
band, I thought I packed this joint. I'm with a corporate band. We about to hit 3 hours, dog.
Yeah.
I can't get to 3 hours without no hi-hat clutch, dog. Like for real, on the real tip. And we playing jazz. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, you doing open
so
and
at the end of the
close
day,
all
you
the
know,
time.
It's called spares.
yeah, dude
Gotta
ran
have-
up like, yo, you got a high clutch? I'm like, nah. My immediate answer like, nah, nigga, what I'm doing with a high clutch? Oh, I do got one. Here you go. You can hold it because I'm going to need it. You feel me?
Mhm.
But it worked out. It worked out.
I had a kit drum head go out in the middle of the show too. Like
Mm.
Rashad was,
How do you change that out?
man. So this happened with Rashad, and those y'all know Rashad, man. He is a heavy hitter.
Yeah.
Like he's solid, but man, we was doing one show. I don't remember the show, but he did the rack. So you know he liked everything on the rack. So
Oh, that was a blessing.
kit drum go out, and it so happened that it happened like doing one of Anthony's interludes, so it wasn't much kit going on. But man, you talking about having to change like two of
On
us,
the-
you know, like literally two,
Yeah.
it's me and the
Yeah.
stage man changing the kick drum head because we know the show's still going on. And
Yeah.
you gotta have the kick, so 2 drum keys. You trying to?
So did y'all move the bass drum or y'all
Yeah, we
left
had
it there?
we had to pull it out.
Yeah,
I mean,
alright, cool.
that's the easy way. I mean, I've
Like
seen
a break in
cat,
a song or something.
huh?
It was like a break, like an interlude. In
Yeah, it was
the
an
show.
interlude where Anthony is just Anthony and keyboard. So man, you
Nah,
talk-
that's a blessing though, because I was
That
about to
was
say if the
definitely a blessing.
times was linked to that
Yeah, that would
yeah,
have been tough.
dude.
And you counting down because you know the
Yeah,
show.
yeah, exactly.
You know
So
when
I
they
mean,
gotta
we
come
try.
back in.
So like it was me and the stage manager. Like we got the joint up and about within a minute, but I mean, it took 2 of us.
No, it was gonna take 2.
Yeah.
It takes 2 for that, like
And I don't think we tuned it. We was just like got this sucker on there.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, nah,
all right,
nah,
dude,
nah.
you on your own.
plugins.
Like,
I remember
You-
it was one time. You know, I don't want to say names or anything, but
yeah.
I wasn't even a tech at all for this particular show. I was just dropping in as one of the homies. And the tech they hired, he was just, he had been with a couple of people, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Been on a couple of tours. I never been on a tour personally, teching. But, he walking up with his head high, can't nobody tell him nothing. Showtime hit. Showtime hit. The daggone, the pad is not working. What happened? The kick pedal was not connected to the bass drum.
Oh, that's tough.
And like I'm talking about, like they smacking at this point. They in the middle of the song, smacking.
And that's a different
Yeah,
feeling.
like-
with no kick on it.
Like that right there, like. And the thing is, like, I guess he had been jacking up, but I guess he was trying to validate his credentials, so it kind of like made him look like the jack of no trade.
Yeah, go
You know what I'm
ahead, go
saying?
home.
Like, yeah, so it's like cats like asking me, "Hey, bro, you available?" You know what I'm saying? We got a couple dates. You know what I'm saying? I was like, "Nah, bro, I can't even do it. Like, I got other priorities, other things going on." But things like that.
Doors can be open.
Yeah,
like
they
that.
can be open. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta go in with a good vibe, man. Don't think you're too high and mighty where you feel like you can't mess up or you can't be taught something.
Yeah.
I've seen the situation, bro. Like I said, man, on the gram, that's real. It's crazy, man. But I've seen a situation where it kind of threw me. It's the worst one I've probably ever seen. Like outside of dealing with him, dude was hitting, bro. I think he hit for TLC. It was recently, like this year. The whole left side of his kit fell, bro. Word. Like when you on stage and like on tour, I know the feeling where the stage moves, and that's a dope feeling for some people. Some people hate that joint, but nah, when you kicking and you got subs and all that, and cymbal stands fell.
You need that sub.
I immediately learned,
Quick lock. Gotta have your locks.
had a locks,
Got
have
to.
heavy
No
duty.
locks.
Even DW used to be like, why they stand so heavy? You need that weight, dog.
And I hate DW stands.
Facts.
I hate them
They
drums,
difficult.
but I mean, they not gonna fail.
Shout out Tama.
Yeah,
They made the
yeah,
best hardware
yeah.
in the game.
Gibraltar.
You know what I mean? Look,
Gibraltar and Tampa. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
Sound percussion.
preference.
Perfect.
Pearl. But yeah, man, like the man, I mean, hi-hat stand, pad, crash.
How they
Every-
go about going with the show?
Yo, the stage manager and the side person ran over there and they helped, but he kept playing like a champ, yo. He was thugging it out. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, which I would have done either, but I ain't gonna lie. After
That's
that show,
embarrassing,
I'm like,
though.
Listen,
Yeah,
bro,
that's
that can't
super
happen
embarrassing.
again.
But the thing, it ain't his fault. You know what I'm saying?
It
It's the
definitely ain't
stage.
his fault,
It's
but
the
he a
tech.
champ because he.
Yeah,
Imagine if it was a solo though.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
that's a bad situation. Like,
Yo, come on,
Kind of clutch though to
son.
being a solo and your stuff
and
to
your
start falling.
cymbal fall, your boom
That'll really
stands.
tell what type of musician you are under pressure though.
Yep. I ain't gonna look. It happened to church on Sunday, bro. We kept going, nigga. Shoot me.
Church is like the ultimate breeding
It's
ground.
you ain't
Yeah,
lying.
you gonna
It-
breed yourself.
Everything.
You definitely gonna train yourself in the church. I think there's like a tech in every musician. You know what I'm saying?
It
Like,
has to be.
because I remember
I don't know
plenty of
about
times
every.
going to different. Well, in most drummers, I know
Some
for a
cats be
fact.
struggling. I'm like, dog, you can't get through without that.
Nah,
Right.
most drummers though, like, well, I can't say most drummers. I know for me, this is just me. I've always had like a creative mind, so I just always try to make stuff makeshift. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just makes sense. Like, if I don't have certain materials that I know I need for a kit, I'm thinking in my head like, okay, what can I actually go without on this hardware piece
Yeah,
where I
run
can
the
use
audible.
this screw for this right here.
Yeah,
Like,
this
you
man
know
was a
what I'm saying?
transformer, legit, bro.
Yeah, like facts. Like I go there. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when it comes to like building like odd end pieces. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, like looking at stuff like that, JR, like he's honestly like the first person I really seen like do this like makeshift stuff, like just make racks and
That rack he
different
made for
pieces.
Devin, for the
yeah,
Beaver gig?
like
And when he powder coated,
that's
all
who
that
need to be
stuff,
here. That's the
Man,
OG, man.
he was
we would
like,
have had
man,
him
he
in
said,
here.
I want to come. I was like, man, I should have called him.
Yeah.
But it's round two, we going to get him
Yeah,
on it.
round
Because,
two.
like,
Yeah,
real talk,
please, for
a lot
real.
of cats don't even know, like, he like, literally, like, 10 minutes up the road, if that.
Yeah.
Like, I went by his spot before I came here, and JR, man, like, Brian Fraser Moore, all them cats,
Them type of
Madonna,
spaceships. Yeah.
like he built them
The
cats, but
OG.
he just keep behind the scenes, like, he just mad cool, and that's why we get along. Cause like he didn't show, like Gerald, one of them dudes, like he didn't really got me up the par in the industry, like, cause like he really like digging you, pause.
Yeah.
But like you know what I'm saying, he want to see you grow, and like he might fuss at you, but you gonna take it.
Right.
Because
Actually.
like he got a resume to prove it. I mean, like he don't work with like certain artists no more. Like I mean, it ain't too many people I can.
When you can make that decision.
Yeah, like it's like
He's doing
make
all
the
right.
decision.
I don't know too many
yeah.
people I can call and that said this work for Limp Bizkit. That's our color. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? He didn't work for Limp Bizkit, Pink. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Kid
mine-
Rock, like
Not mine.
He good.
he didn't
Madonna.
cross over.
Yeah.
We do
Madonna,
Madonna. Yeah.
Prince, like Michael Jackson. He done did all them cats.
So he got some experience under his belt.
Yeah.
I know when I be talking to him, like sometimes I get nervous because I'm like, bro, like you ask me a question, and it's like, you know, he pretty much. I feel like he already know what he want to hear, so it's like, okay, but it's not about what you want to hear about. You know what I'm saying? What I know, but I feel like sometimes what I know is like it's not up to par all the time. So I look for the OGs like him. You know what I'm saying?
There's levels, bro.
Yeah, OGs
He-
like
he-
him.
he
Like
had
he
to
really put me on
start
to a
somewhere.
lot of stuff.
Right.
Like, shout you out, bro. For real. Facts.
Cedric Kraut. It's a
Cedric
couple
too,
of them, bro.
yeah.
Like,
Kraut. I haven't had a chance to meet Kraut yet, but
Facts.
he's on the list.
Yeah.
I definitely reached out like via Instagram, and super cool
Said
dude.
that's the homie.
Yeah,
yeah,
facts.
and a lot of these cats, man, like artists, musicians, and I ain't gonna say artists, but musicians and musician techs in the industry, like, you know, some people carry attitudes, and some people, if you just reach out to them, you'd be surprised, bro. They will hit you back.
Yeah, facts.
They will
That's what I
hit
was
you
talking
back.
about. Me and Josh had this conversation earlier, and I was like, you know, like I met Sid when I did my first tour, and I was doing monitors for Chris Sett, and Sid was doing stage manager for Keisha Cole, and I met Sid, and the whole point of I was telling Josh, I was like, I started networking, but the whole key of when you network, you gotta follow up.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like these
I just had a number.
yeah, these
Just
cats.
the homie.
I mean, they meet people all the time. So like, I think after the tour, man, I gave them like maybe a few days to kind of recuperate. But I would shoot them text, yo, this Shields, you know, from the tour such and such, man, hit me up, and we just became cool. Like I can text them right now, FaceTime them, you know what I'm saying?
Cats be thinking it's like
Yeah.
they're too cool to talk. Like I could be in public somewhere somebody who might know me from Instagram or Facebook or something, and like, oh yo, you're a lead drummer. I'm like, yeah, that's me, bro. You know what I'm saying?
It's
Like,
love.
give me your info.
Don't be
you know what I'm saying?
weird.
Like,
And
don't
we-
be weird
Go and
about
say
it,
what's
bro.
up, man.
Like, yeah, don't be
And
weird.
when we talk,
Like,
sometimes we don't talk about music.
facts.
Yeah,
I don't
we
want to
talk
talk
about life.
Facts.
No,
yeah.
you be surprised, bro. You be surprised, man. We don't talk about instruments and stuff like that. You be over there talking about farting, bro.
Yeah,
You never know. You be thinking, oh yeah, they talking about something deep, some industry, something dope.
man, we talking about.
Bro, I got gas.
deal with this stuff so
Food,
much we don't want to
wings.
hear about it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I know, shoot, some of us got ladies, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Facts.
you know, the ones that do, you know, some are married, some just got girlfriends, but sometimes they just want to go home and, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying, kick it with their lady and not talk about work, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Facts.
you know, blue collar, white collar, it don't matter. Like, this right here is a real job too. Like, facts.
That's real. Well,
Stressful.
fellas, I feel like, you know what I mean, we covered a good amount. I appreciate y'all pulling up. But I do want to leave, you know, the next generation that is even interested in this tech and field and stuff like that. What's one piece of advice briefly that you could give them as far as this lane goes if they wanted to pursue it?
Study who you're teching for.
good.
True.
It's
That's
good.
so real.
It's good.
Yo, I'm happy you said that. Varo, I got the call like last minute on that joint, probably like maybe 2-3 days to do the McDonald's Fest or whatever. And I've never really seen his setup. I was familiar with him. I'm a true fan of his
Right.
playing. But I never really paid attention to his kit. So I'm sitting there going through his page trying to figure out, I'm like, dang, dude, he got so many different setups. Like, which one do I do? Like,
Right.
so I just ended up picking like the one I seen he was more fluent with. You know what I'm saying? Which one I
Wow.
saw that was more similar to each one. You know what I'm saying? Each picture or whatever. So by the time he got there, man, he looked at the kit and he looked at me, he like, yo,
Hey, yo, chill
like how you he was like surprised, like literally like, you know what I'm saying, triggers, you know what I'm saying, aux snares, you know what I'm saying, like just even like eye level of how he
Right.
played, you know what I'm saying? Everything was so on point. Like I went somewhere and like just smiled in the mirror 'cause I was like, yo, this is so dope
That's
to
a
me.
blessing.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like just to be able to be that crafty and to study an artist like that, like they really enjoy that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's less stress for them to have to
You can just come in and sit down and
just sit down, yo.
And it's leveled out right.
Level like
Not how you want it. Don't be that drum tech, bro, or that musician tech where you set it up high. Yeah, that's how I like to play drums.
Right.
yo, bro, you done. It's over. But you, Shields?
I mean, yeah, obviously, know who you taking for a study on, but for me, I would go deeper and just say be workable, like be humble.
Facts.
Like if your lobby call is 5:30, don't show up at 5:30. Show up at 5. Be prepared. Younger generation, like I feel like a lot of times they feel like they already have arrived, and you ain't doing it but club and church scenes.
Right.
Which I mean, I ain't discrediting it, but you know what I'm saying, it's a lot
More to it.
It's more to it. So I would say just be workable, humble, and respect the ones that's, trying to pay the way for us. Because, I mean, somebody paid the way for us, so we're trying to do the following things. So just, take our advice and, just, like you said, so that's what I would say. Just be humble and workable. And, I mean, because nowadays you get hired for not what you're doing on
for
stage.
good character.
Like, even when you do a tour, like, I'm on a bus with you for 6 weeks. Clean up after yourself.
Yo,
that's
I keep
what I'm saying?
hearing that.
Like,
I keep hearing that, bro.
Can I
That's
live with you? Because, I mean, you
Yeah.
living with somebody for 6 weeks on a bus. Like, man, we used to have that issue with some of the guys. I ain't throw the names, but,
Right.
dude, like, if you dirty on the bus, I don't want to go to your house.
Yeah.
Don't invite me to eat nothing.
Yeah. So, I
I
mean,
don't want to eat nothing.
and real talk, he got fired.
Nah,
I mean, cats,
and
like,
dirty,
'cause
yeah.
managers,
simple stuff.
yeah, they ain't trying to, like, they don't care about what you can do on the stages. 90% of it, in my opinion, is off stage.
If you're a weirdo, it's a wrap.
10%
Yeah.
work, 90% relationships.
It's a wrap.
So,
I
that's
know,
what that's my advice.
Right.
Advice. I would say to the ones up and coming, even though I ain't the ones up and coming, or even the the ones now, stay confident. Be confident in yourself and in your work. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, dealing in this industry, it could really be like a pit bull at a poodle. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And you go in, thinking that you're ready for something, but then you get around certain names and certain levels, and it's like you clinch up. You know what I'm saying? Like, be confident. Go in there like, nah, I know my job, but don't be to the point where it's like
Confident and coachable.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Confident and coachable. That's like perfect.
Hashtag.
Facts.
Yeah, factuals, hashtags.
Facts.
Yeah,
Humble, hungry,
factuals.
consistent.
Because at the
Facts.
end of the day, it's like you cannot be teachable. You know what I'm saying? No matter how long you've been in it, because the
Stay
game
a student in
changes
the game.
every single minute.
Yeah.
It's something being invented. It's something somebody's talking about the next 3 years of an invention. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but you know what I'm saying? Roland might have something come out,
And
and
you gotta be up.
next week.
Yeah.
You
It
gotta
might have
learn
something come
that
out
stuff,
and
man.
it change the whole electronic game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like certain things, like just be confident in your gift and stay up on it. You know what I'm saying? Stay up on your
Your craft.
your craft. Period. You
And I added that, even like being confident. Like, there's been situations where, like, now I know how to program keyboards and all that stuff. And, like, somebody asked me, can you program a keyboard? In my mind, I know I don't know how to do it.
Facts.
But I'm not about to sit here and say no. As long as I
Right,
got my
I'ma
phone on
figure it out.
YouTube and my headphones,
There you go.
like, give me a
YouTube
few
is
minutes.
everything,
Like,
yo.
so,
There you go.
like, not saying it's okay to lie, but at the same time, it's okay to lie and be confident and
Yeah,
use
facts.
your
If they
research.
gonna give you a few minutes, you be
use,
out.
yeah, use your
Yeah.
tool, your resources to get the job done. Like, I didn't know how to program the SPD, but I mean, I can do it behind my hand now. You know what I'm saying?
God gave you a brain. He didn't tell you just to use it for this.
YouTube is out there for a
YouTube is
reason. Use it.
everything.
That's real.
This generation lucky.
YouTube
'cause
University.
We ain't have it. When I was growing up, we ain't have YouTube. I remember the first computer. I remember the first time even dialing up.
Hey, we had to keep cutting stuff on and off.
Yeah, like
oh shoot, I did it wrong. Let me cut it off.
yeah. So you know what I'm saying? Like this generation is blessed. You know, like they, so they have the tools. Not just all about.
Don't
working
be lazy,
tools.
and it's not about gear. It's not don't be a gear fanatic.
Right.
Have your own preference. Know what you want to play and why you want to play it. You know what I mean? Be able to explain it to your tech, what you want and why you want that sound or whatever. If need be, if for general conversation, bro, that'll be my part of it. Advice. Be able to hold the conversation, bro, about gear and not sound like or say the same stuff everybody else be saying.
Facts.
It's like, bro. Can we
Nah,
talk for
not
about
what
an
you
hour,
hear.
bro, on this specific
And
piece
like,
of product?
And like you said, know your gear, cause man, like I was talking to one guy. Like prime example, we was talking about Tama kits, and he was like, man, he was talking about the highest line of Tama kits Star Classic. I'm like, no, it's not.
Nah, bro.
Was that the post that was online the other day?
Yeah, like
I seen
I'm
that.
like, bro, like you gotta
People
like
don't
know
know
your
the
gear,
gear, bro.
like it's
Terrible.
Star.
That's immediately you'll walk right off. All right, don't worry about it.
You know what I'm saying. So you gotta know your gear, and I mean, cause like I said, I do my research, man. I go to these companies, keyboards, like the new fan. I know how to use that drum. I mean, you gotta know that stuff, cause at the end of the day, when you get that call,
I think that's dope. Like, cause I'm just now sitting here thinking about it. I'm hearing you talk, Kenny. It's like I've never really been in a situation where I call myself a drum tech, but I really need to like take drum off and just be a tech, because now that I think about it, any call I've gotten, it's really been to be a stage tech. Like it's not an individual job unless you really have a straight A-list that wants individual pieces that they're like the musician with their own individual relationship with a person. Like you're really put in the middle of doing everything. So I don't know a whole bunch about keyboards, but I know enough. My god brother, he knows everything about boards. My homies, they know everything about boards. So it's like I just learned along the way. Guitars as well, you know what I'm saying? I could change strings on a bass, or you know what I'm saying, give me a tuner. Well, I'm right in there. You know what I'm saying?
That's how you get the calls,
so
man.
I just
don't
thought
be scared to branch out.
that up. Like I've never really thought about myself. I never really thought about like, I'm actually more than a drum tech. Like it's actually like
work your way up to stage manager. G.
Yeah. That's what I do now too. You know what I'm saying? I'm a stage manager as well. You know what I'm saying? So
plug.
Yeah, factual.
Indeed, man. Well,
that's how when you start learning that stuff, man. And then you start learning about like terminology that ain't got nothing to do with tech and like downstage,
nothing
upstage,
at all.
You don't work your way,
spiking. You know what I'm saying? Like you start learning stuff, and the more you know, like I mean, I know how to call spotlights and all that stuff. Like that's what a true stage manager does. You tech, you design the stage, you manage.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
You gotta know this stuff.
My very first experience with stage managing was the big event here, Raleigh Day. Like it's my first time. Like, but you're dealing with various artists from like around the Triangle. You know what I'm saying? At the Lincoln Theater, and I'm dealing with at least like 40 different artists. You know what I'm saying? They all emailing me, calling me. I'm talking about, and I got put on the spot to do this like maybe 4 days before the event. I was just supposed to be playing for an artist. I didn't even play for the artist.
No, you can't.
Because at this point, I got to wear about 40 other acts and their musicians. So I'm like, you know what? Well, it wasn't my decision, but it was the artist and his management decision. We'll just give you, we'll give you, you know what I'm saying, your backing tracks, and you get this right here. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's actually, thank you.
That's dope. Well, guys, I feel like,
Joe Wilson. That's who it is.
Oh, Joe Wilson.
Joe Wilson. He's the one that put me in my very first tech job.
Solid.
That's where I met you at, I think.
Yep.
I was working with Joe.
Yep.
I was doing audio. Yep, I was doing audio.
Yep. That was the very first time.
Joe, that's the homie. He back in Raleigh now.
Yes. Yeah.
Shout out to Joe.
Yeah. Mike Johnson. Yeah, those two were the ones, man.
That's who put me on TRX.
Yep.
Oh, word.
Mike. Yep. I met him. I was in middle school. He was the instructor at this rec center drum line. That was back in 07. So yeah.
Word.
That's the OG.
Well, man, I feel like we covered enough for the next generation. I feel like it's a great lane. Like I said, it's a wide lane. Appreciate y'all stopping through, man. It's love.
Sure, man. Appreciate it.
We out. Right. Another episode of Musicians Exchange Podcast Season 2.